I taught him how to gamble and some other stuff I can't mention here. Huh? There's a pastor here?
In 2007, 4 or 5 of us decided to get together for a radio lunch. We had all worked closely together and hadn't seen each other for a while. And we did it over at Captain Humble's restaurant in Slidell, which had been basically destroyed in Hurricane Katrina. But he redid it, and so we had our little 7-person reunion there. And then along came Facebook somewhere not long after that, and the 7 of us were kind of talking about it, and some other radio people were joining all the time, and they said, when are you going to do another one? When are you going to do another one? So one thing led to another. We had about 30 in the next one and 60 in the next one, and this one here is our 9th one, and we were anticipating about 85 people here today, all A-list radio people, and with stories to tell and a lot of history. So that's really how it all came about. After we just had a simple lunch and Facebook came along, it all snowballed when people saw our posts, people who were in the business with us, and they said, let's do another one, let's do another one.
Well, all of us old radio people, you know, we're dying off, so we figured we better do these things while we can still see each other, you know. Now, Bob Walker and I, we've maintained our friendship through all the years, and we normally have lunch about once every 3 weeks or once a month. But, you know, you look at the people that we keep losing, and none of us are getting any younger. So we want to try to keep these things going as long as we possibly can.
Aren't some of these people former competitors, though?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, one of the things that radio lacks right now is the great competitiveness that there used to be. When Bob and I and a lot of the guys here were at WTIX and WNOE, and it was all out war. I mean, you hated the competition.
When we were all competitors, like, we never really mingled or talked. You know, you'd see one another every now and then say hello. But then we all skipped around so much. Like I started at WNOE. When it went country, I left and went to Baton Rouge for a few years at WFMF, and then Michael Costello hired me down back here at WRNO in 1983. So it's like, yeah, there was a whole slew of people I worked with at NOE. We were competitors with RNO at the time, and then all of a sudden during the 80s, we're family, you know, with these people. And the same thing with a lot of people that worked at WTIX and WNOE was so competitive at the time. And before you know it, and then during the 90s, I worked at WCKW, and that was most of us folks that worked over at WRNO. You know, Bobby, Reno, Pal, Al, we all end up working at WCKW. So rivalry, yeah, but then you end up being family sooner or later because we all went from station to station.
To be included in this with all these wonderful disc jockeys who I know preceded me on what was a big watt battle with TIX and NOE. I mean, that was legendary across the country. You know, I mean, that's really to even be included. Of course, I come from the country part of it, so you know, you can imagine for somebody like me to be included with them, or even be asked or to shake hands with people. And all that. It is a really cool deal.
You know, New Orleans doesn't have what we call per se a Hall of Fame, but this is the Hall of Fame. Everybody in this room is a part of New Orleans broadcasting history.
Most of these guys, the older ones, I worked with all of them at various radio stations because I think I worked at every radio station in the city at one point or another. But we had such a good time. Radio back then was the epitome of having a good time. And we all did.